They told you the moon controls the tides, that it stirs the oceans and nudges at the waters of your body. But what if that was just the beginning? What if the moon is not just a satellite, but a mirror for consciousness, a transmitter of memory, and a keeper of secrets humanity was never meant to forget? Throughout history, mystics, shamans, and sages have whispered of her deeper powers, that the phases of the moon open gateways, that beneath her shifting light, our dreams aren't just dreams, they're messages. Visual, a scroll unfurls, symbols glow cycles, spirals, and lunar glyphs, cut to ancient stone carvings of moon goddesses, lunar calendars, and veiled priestesses under moonlight. You won't find this in a science textbook. You won't hear this in mainstream astrology. But in the shadows of forgotten temples and buried manuscripts, the moon was never just about light or gravity. She was alive. She watched, she influenced, and she initiated. In this journey, we will explore the hidden energetic blueprint of the moon, why the ancients built temples aligned to her phases, why certain rituals can only be performed during the dark moon, and why our modern detachment from her rhythms may be costing us more than we realize. This isn't about superstition. This is about memory. Cosmic memory etched in lunar light, long before streetlights drowned the stars, before clocks divorced us from the sky, humans lived by the moon. Its phases weren't just tracked, they were honored. In Sumer, the moon god Nanolator called Sin was among the highest deities. He governed not just night, but the mysteries of divination, wisdom, and cycles. Temples in Ur and Haran weren't only places of worship. They were lunar laboratories observatories of the sacred rhythm. Travel west to Egypt, and the moon was personified by Khonsu, a timekeeper and healer. His name means traveler, because the moon doesn't just rise and set, it moves through us. In Vedic texts, the moon are Chandra's, the mind itself, not the brain, but Manas, the reflective, reactive, emotional current within every being. To harmonize with Chandra is to stabilize the psyche, to quiet the storm within. Visual, waxing and waning cycles illustrated as spirals, sacred geometry overlaid onto lunar orbits. Across traditions from the Maya to the Yoruba, from Taoist alchemy to Druidic ritual, the moon wasn't passive. It was a force, a feminine intelligence guiding the cycles of birth, death, and transformation. But something changed. As patriarchal systems solidified, the moon's mysteries were deemed irrational, emotional, unreliable. Linear time took precedence over circular wisdom. The lunar calendar was erased, replaced by sun worship, industrial clocks, and artificial rhythm. And with that shift, something inside us dimmed. Our inner tides became chaotic. We forgot how to feel deeply. We lost sync with our own cycles, especially in our bodies, our creativity, our intuition. Yet the moon remained, silently orbiting, patiently pulsing. She watches still, waiting for us to remember that time is not just measured in hours. It is felt in phases. Now, let's begin decoding what the ancients knew, and what we've been conditioned to forget. The moon is not just a light in the sky. It's an energetic metronome, ticking not seconds, but states of being. Each lunar phase carries a frequency, a waveform of intention, an emotional climate that subtly reshapes our internal landscape. Let's begin where all things begin. The new moon. Not dark hidden. This is the womb phase, where the veil is thinnest, and seeds of reality are whispered into existence. In ancient ritual, this was the time of dream planting, a phase for silence, intention setting, and going inward. It's when mystics spoke not with their mouths, but with their energy. Then comes the waxing crescent, a phase of emergence. Here, desire begins to stir, like a spark rising from ash. Ancient texts equated this moment with breath, the first inhale of a new creation. The first quarter moon is a phase of challenge and momentum. The ancients called it the gate of courage, where intentions meet friction. This is where energy must be summoned, where action is sacred, and resistance is a signpost, not a stop sign. Then the waxing gibbous, the phase of refinement. The moon teaches here the importance of tuning. like adjusting strings before a performance. This is the moment to clarify, to align deeper with purpose. To listen, not just push. And then, the full moon. Visual. The screen brightens dramatically. A full moon blazes above a circle of robed figures in silent ritual. Their shadows stretch impossibly long beneath them. The ancients revered the full moon not merely for its beauty, but for its revelatory power. It is the mirror. It shows you what you've become, what you've hidden, what you're ready to release. Emotions heighten, not because we're lunatics, but because the light illuminates. This is when truth cannot hide. In temples across India, Greece, Mesoamerica, the full moon marked sacred rites of passage, forgiveness, harvest, and prophecy. But even the brightest phase must yield. The waning gibbous begins the integration. The energy turns from outward action to inner digestion, like a snake coiling inward to absorb its meal. Then comes the last quarter-thea phase of release. This is when the ancients would cut their hair, burn old writings, bury relics in the earth. A letting go to make space. And finally, the waning crescent, the hermit phase. Withdrawal not as avoidance, but as sacred restoration. It is the elder of the lunar cycle, the phase of surrender and wisdom. Visual. The entire cycle pulses as a sacred mandala. Moonlight touches the crown of a meditating figure, glowing with cosmic serenity. Each phase is a teacher, each one a key. We are not meant to be static. We are meant to shift, to rise, fall, bloom, break, renew. And yet, most of us fight the tide, forcing summer in our souls when winter is calling. The moon doesn't demand. She invites. And when we align with her rhythm, we don't just heal. We remember how to live. But what if the moon's influence is more than just a cycle to follow? What if she is an intermediary veil between realms? In esoteric traditions, the moon has always been a paradox. She reflects, but has no light of her own. She governs cycles, yet never speaks. She watches us, but never turns her face. This duality made her sacred and feared. In Hermetic philosophy, the moon sits between the world of form and the world of spirit. She's the soul mirror, reflecting our unconscious longings back to us. Her light doesn't just shine, it reveals. Not just the path, but the shadow. Visual. A split figure half cloaked in silver light, half in darkness. The moon rotates behind them like a wheel. The Kabbalistic tree of life places the moon on the path of Yesod, the foundation. It is the realm of dreams, sexual energy, imagination. The astral plane. And for initiates, Yesod is the final gate before the higher realms. But only if you face what lies in the dark. That's why ancient rites, particularly mystery schools like those of Isis, Artemis, or Hecate, used the moon as a trigger. She was the timekeeper of liminality, the in-between, the threshold moon. Initiates would fast during the dark moon, descend into underground chambers, and die symbolically so they might rebirth spiritually. And what of modern misconceptions? Many today associate the moon solely with chaos, emotional instability, even madness. The word lunatic? Born from the belief that the moon could unravel the mind. But esoteric texts hint at something deeper. It's not the moon that causes madness. It's our resistance to her truth. Visual. Ancient parchment shows a cycle being broken. A figure splits from their shadow and turns away from the moon. Energy distorts. Discord emerges. When we deny rest during waning phases, when we push against grief that needs space, when we ignore the rising truths at full moon, we become fragmented, and the moon ever gentle magnifies what is hidden until we are forced to feel. But there is another mystery, one the ancients knew, but science still cannot fully explain. The moon's orbit is nearly perfectly matched to its rotation. We only see one face. The dark side of the moon is never visible from Earth, not because it's dark, but because it's hidden. What did the ancients believe was kept there? Some said it was the gateway to ancestral memory. Others said it housed records of our soul's past journeys. The Akkadians spoke of the moon as a keeper of fate, its hidden side containing what you must become, if you dare to evolve. And perhaps the greatest mystery of all, why is the moon just the right size and distance to perfectly eclipse the sun? Mathematically improbable, symbolically undeniable. In eclipse rituals, the moon overtakes the sun. The unconscious eclipses the conscious, allowing buried truths to surface. It is in these rare moments, say the mystics, that the veil is thinnest. When souls awaken, or fall further asleep, the moon doesn't pull us randomly. She guides us through remembrance, release, and rebirth. To follow her isn't to escape reality. It's to align with a deeper one. So, how do we bring this ancient knowing into modern living? How do we feel the moon, not just observe her? The answer is not in complexity, but in ritual, in rhythm, and in returning to what your soul already knows. Let's begin with the new moon. This is your blank page, your sacred void. On this night, do less. Turn off the lights, light a single candle. Sit in stillness and write your intention not as a goal, but as a seed. What do I need to feel whole again? What wants to be born through me? Then bury that paper under soil, sand, or stone. Or place it beneath your pillow to invite dream messages. During the waxing phase, take aligned action. Don't just move with meaning. Create a moon altar using symbols of growth, leaves, coins, feathers, or written affirmations. Each day, spend just 5 minutes visualizing your seed sprouting, growing stronger, guided by the rising light. On the full moon, it's time to amplify and release. Charge water under the moonlight, known by many as lunar elixir. Drink it slowly the next morning as a way to take the moon into your body. Dance, cry, journal, bathe in salt water. Do whatever helps you express the emotions that have come to the surface. What has come full circle? What am I ready to let go of? Burn what no longer serves you. Ashes carry messages, too. As the moon wanes, slow down. Clean your space energetically and physically. Practice stillness. This is the time to listen, not broadcast. If you work with crystals, this is when you cleanse them. Not just with water or salt, but with breath and intention. And in the dark moon, just before the new moon's return, rest. This is sacred silence, a space for dream work, solitude, and spiritual downloads. Let yourself be nothing so you can become everything. Visual, overlay of a calendar slowly rotating through lunar phases. Each phase subtly glows as the narrator speaks. A figure moves through the seasons of the soul. But here's the key. This isn't about perfection. It's about presence. The moon doesn't rush. She doesn't apologize for retreating. She waxes, she wanes. And so do you. Even simple practices can reconnect you. Drinking moon water, meditating during eclipses, tracking your emotional patterns across cycles, syncing creative projects to the waxing phase, and editing during the waning. Noticing your energy, not just your schedule. And perhaps most powerful of all, sleep under her light. Just once a month. Let her watch over you, like she did your ancestors. You are not disconnected. You are not broken. You are just out of rhythm. And the moon is your tuning fork. Visual. A hand reaches toward the full moon reflected in a bowl of water. Ripples shimmer outward. Cut to a woman smiling, journal in hand under moonlight. Return to her, and you return to you. The moon was never lost. We simply stopped looking up. She has always been there, guiding without force, speaking without words, pulling at the ocean and your blood. What they never told you, what was forgotten, is that the moon is not just a celestial body. She is a mirror, a portal, a rhythm your soul once danced to without hesitation. To remember the moon is to remember yourself. Your softness, your cycles, your wisdom. You are not linear. You are not a machine. You are lunar, a being of tides and turning phases. When you align with her, you don't just live differently, you feel differently. You awaken something ancient. You begin to notice the unseen, to listen between words, to honor stillness as much as motion. Start small. Track her phases. Honor your feelings. Speak intentions aloud beneath her glow. Make space for your shadows. Because here's the truth. She doesn't ask you to be perfect. She asks you to be in tune. So tonight, when the sky darkens, step outside. Look up. Let her light find your face. Let your soul remember the rhythm. And when it does, you'll understand why the ancients bowed their heads in silence. Not out of fear, but out of awe. If this message stirred something within you, if it echoed with a truth you almost forgot, share it. Let it ripple outward, like moonlight on still water. Subscribe for more journeys through ancient wisdom and hidden truths. And tell me in the comments, what does the moon mean to you?